The Muslims breached the city from all fronts early in the morning and in great numbers. We faced them at the gates of St. Anthony, where there were so many Saracens, one could not count them. It was the end of the 13th century in the warm lands of the Middle East. The Mamluk grip over the Crusader states of the Holy Land tightened suffocatingly. Over the latter half of the century, the Christian cities had fallen to the inexorable Sultanate, city by city. First, Arsuf was taken, then Antioch, then Tripoli. By the year 1290 of our Lord, St. Sean of Acre, under the Kingdom of Jerusalem, was the last of the great cities on the Holy Land to remain in Christian hands. And it wouldn't be for long. The Mamluk Sultanate, which had risen in Egypt around 1250, was led by the old Sultan al-Mansur Qalawin. Short before his passing, Qalawin dissolved the current truce with the city of Acre. His son, Al-Ashraf Halil, rose to the throne and marched towards Acre. The Crusaders held council in order to organize a defense. The Christian leadership was headed up by King Henry II of Jerusalem and Cyprus. He was accompanied by Amaury of Tyre, his brother and vassal. By the knight Sean I de Grailly, who had recently returned with Venetian and Aragonese reinforcements, and by Otto de Grandson, commander of English troops in Palestine. The king was also joined by the Grand Masters of the three great military orders: Grand Master Guillaume de Boschu of the Knights Templar, Grand Master Jean de Villiers of the Knights Hospitaller, and Grand Master Conrad von Voigt-Vangen of the Teutonic Knights. The 6th of April, 1291, the great Muslim army arrived at St. Sean of Acre. Halil was joined by the Ayyubid Emirate of Hama, the remnants of the great Ayyubid dynasty, as well as by the Sultanate of Damascus. According to some sources, the Sultan's army amounted to 80,000 men, certainly a sight to behold. The 8th of April, the siege engines arrived. The Mamluks had gathered the astonishing number of 100 catapults from the cities visited along the way. Under the terrified eyes of the defenders, the Muslims initiated a devastating bombardment. For 7 days, the besiegers peppered the city with fire and stone. Grand Master of the Knights Templar, Guillaume de Bashu, led in the night of the 15th, a night sortie against the Mamluk camp. Several night attacks followed, the most successful carried out by Otto de Grandson and Sean de Grailly. Even though the Crusaders fought valiantly, the Muslim preparations for a general assault carried on for another month. Finally, the 18th of May, the Mamluk army assembled before the city, ready for the assault. The city had 3 main gates: the northern gate, the eastern gate, and the gate of St. Anthony, which laid in the middle of the other 2. The Sultan had arranged the Ayyubids of Hama facing the northern gate. The gate of St. Anthony would be attacked by the armies of Damascus. While the eastern gate would be assaulted by the armies of Egypt, under Sultan Halil himself. On the other side of the walls, the Crusaders had arranged their troops as follows. The Knights Templar defended the northern gate, under Grand Master Guillaume de Bashu. The Hospitallers stood in the gate of St. Anthony, under Grand Master Sean de Villiers. The eastern gate was defended by the men of the Kingdom of Jerusalem in Cyprus, under the command of the king's brother, Amaury of Tyre. Otto de Grandson and Sean de Grailly led the European reinforcements, and the Teutons awaited in the rear under Grand Master Conrad. The Christian forces amounted to a total of 17,000 men, outnumbered by more than 4 to 1. However, the Crusaders were determined to win or die fighting. The battle for Acre, the last bastion of Christianity in the Holy Land, was about to begin. The great Mamluk army initiated the advance on all fronts. in one of the breached sections of the wall, the king of Cyprus and his brother held an unending tide of Mamluks. Their task was important, for one of the tallest towers, nicknamed Tower of the Accursed, laid close. If the Mamluks were to take the tower, they would be able to rain down arrows on the defenders. In the northern gate, the Templar Grand Master Guillaume de Bashu led his men against the Ayyubid armies of Hop. For the moment, the pressure of the Mamluks seemed to not be enough to break the Templars. However, news of the Tower of the Accursed reached Guillaume. The tower was about to be overrun by the enemy. A Templar Grand Master himself led Templar reinforcements towards the Tower of the Accursed. Hospitallers themselves also sent reinforcements under Marshal Matthew de Clermont. After a few hours of fighting, the armies of Egypt captured the accursed tower. The Templars and Hospitallers retreated to the gate of St. Anthony. This had effectively separated the Templars and Hospitallers from the Crusaders of the Eastern Gate. During the retreat, tragedy struck. Grand Master Guillaume de Bashu was hit by an arrow. Written accounts tell he trampled away from the fight under the complaints of cowardice from his men. Then he raised his arm, showing the wound of the arrow, and uttered the following words: "I am not fleeing. I am dead. Here is the wound." Not far from there, Hospitallers second in command, Matthew de Clermont, also fought valiantly. Both Guillaume de Bashu and Matthew de Clermont were carried away into a nearby house, where they would pass away moments later. In the gates of St. Anthony, Hospitaller Grand Master Jean de Villiers commanded the retreat, so as to rally with the rest of the allies. During the retreat, Jean de Villiers was wounded and carried away by his men. A bloody massacre followed as the Christian troops routed and fled towards the city docks. the city was lost. The fighting raged through the city streets, and many perished. The Crusader troops formed a defensive perimeter around the docks, so their lords could board the ships and flee the city. Despite his wish to stay in the fight, Hospitaller Grand Master Sean de Villiers was put in a ship by his men. The Teutonic Grand Master Conrad, the European knights Otto de Grandson and Sean de Grailly, as well as King Henry of Cyprus and his brother, all were able to flee, thanks to the heroic last stand of their men. The battle for Acre was over. Pierre de Sèvres, Marshal of the Knights Templar, gathered the refugees inside the Templar castle of Acre. Pierre tried to reach an agreement with the Sultan Halil al-Ashraf, but the peace negotiations failed. The Muslims took the castle of Acre by storm, and its defenders were butchered. The last of the Christian cities in the Holy Land had fallen.